Hi everyone, I'm Amanda Rogers and welcome to my show, Real World Cooking. I'm a recent college graduate and I just moved from Florida to the city of Los Angeles, California. So this is my first time stepping out into the real world. I'm healthy and I'm also on a budget, so all of my cooking is going to have those key concepts in mind. I also just stumbled upon balsamic vinaigrette reduction, which I absolutely love, so every dish I prepare today is going to have that ingredient. First, I'm going to start with my blue cheese chips. Crumbled blue cheese, bacon bits, and scallions. Then I'm going to make roasted Brussels sprouts and Caprese chicken. All recipes drizzled with a balsamic glaze. Now let's get cooking. First, I'm going to start with my balsamic reduction. You need 3/4 of a cup of good balsamic vinegar. And we're going to put it on high heat. And once it starts to boil, you're going to reduce the heat and let it simmer for about 15 minutes or till it's reduced by half. You can also buy the balsamic glaze in the store, which makes it a little easier, but I like cooking it at home because it makes the house smell so good, and also it makes it a little bit more special. Now that I've got my balsamic vinegar reducing, I'm going to move on to my blue cheese chips. I just got some kettle cooked potato chips, and I'm going to pour about half the bag in the bowl, because I just have a few friends coming over and I'm not going to make the whole thing. So into the bowl they go. That looks good. Now for the blue cheese. You can use as much as you want. The recipe calls for about a cup. I'm going to use a little less than that. Just sprinkle them on in there. And I let this sit out of the fridge for about 10 minutes so that it's a little softer. I'm going to pop it in the oven and it'll melt much nicer that way. Now for the bacon bits. You can make your own bacon and chop it up if you want to, which is just as tasty, but I thought I would cut out half the work and just get some bacon bits at the store. And just sprinkle some on there. Depends how much you like bacon. Depends on if your friends are vegetarian. If so, you can do without, but I think it gives it a really nice crunch. So now we're gonna add some scallions. We're not quite done yet. And I'm gonna cut about 1/4 of a cup. Give it just try to cut it finely. So like I said, I cook on a budget, and don't know if you've realized, but when you go to the store, it seems like the healthiest foods are always the most expensive. But I gotta say, after looking at my receipt, the produce is actually the cheapest. And if it's not, it's worth it. All right, that looks like enough scallions. Just grab that and sprinkle it on. Look at the color that it brings to this dish. Delicious. All right, now look how beautiful that is. Colorful, and yet we're not done. Wait till you see the garnish on top afterwards. So into the oven this goes for about 5 to 10 minutes till the cheese just starts to melt just a little bit. You don't want stringy nacho cheese, but it's blue cheese, so it's not gonna do that. And you're gonna set the oven to 250 degrees. Pop that bad boy in there. Brussels sprouts are super cheap. I got about 1.5 pounds of Brussels sprouts for like $2.50. I feel like a lot of people don't like Brussels sprouts, but you know what? I just recently tried them, didn't think I was gonna like them, and boy, are they delicious. They're gonna get really soft in the center, but they're also gonna get harder on the outside and get that charred kind of feel. Be super delicious. So I'm gonna clear some space and drizzle some olive oil on my Brussels sprouts. And then some good sea salt. Sprinkle that right on. And of course, some black pepper. That's good. And I like to just mix it up with my hands and make sure they all get a good coating of the olive oil, the sea salt, and the black pepper. So my Brussels sprouts are ready to go into the oven, but before we do that, let's take out the blue cheese chips. Oh, those scallions smell amazing. Oh, I can't wait to eat these. And I'm just gonna bump this up to 400 degrees. Now to drizzle that awesome balsamic glaze I made earlier. Give it a quick stir. You can do as much as you like. I'd say about 2 tablespoons. Beautiful. So now, we are going to take these and put them in the oven at 400 degrees for 35 minutes. Alrighty, so you're gonna let the pan get nice and hot and get started on my yummy caprese chicken. Grab my extra virgin olive oil, and again, about 2 tablespoons into the pan. Alright, so my oil is ready. I'm gonna use tongs. You gotta be careful with this because the oil's gonna be hot. And I'm gonna put them in here for just a minute. Let them cook on high heat in the oil. And let that sit for about a minute. Then, what I'm gonna do is flip it over and then put a lid on it and let it cook for 10 minutes on low heat. That way, instead of drying the chicken out, it's gonna have nice, moist tenderness. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes. My chicken is done. Okay. And I'm taking the lid off now. It's very important that you do not take off the lid at any time in the 10 minutes that it's cooking, because then all the heat will escape and it won't be as tender as you see. Beautiful. See how moist that looks? Oh yeah, this is gonna be good. And the little one. There's always a runt in the batch. So first, we're gonna cut the cheese. You can get any mozzarella cheese you like. I like to let it sit out for an hour so it gets room temperature. That way it's easier to eat and it melts a little nicer on the hot, hot chicken. I'm gonna cut 4 slices. I'm gonna set that on my chicken. Just like that. Very easy, and the little one gets a little piece of cheese. Perfect. Now, I'm gonna take 4 basil leaves, and look how pretty that looks. And now for the tomato. Little tomato, and big tomato. And finally, for the drizzle of balsamic reduction, again another spoon. Sometimes you gotta stir it around a little because it might coagulate. I like to keep it on low heat so it doesn't do that. And one final drizzle. That smells delicious, and that basil really brings out the aroma. And now my Brussels sprouts are ready. I'm gonna take that out of the oven. Oh yeah. Beautiful. See how nice and crisp they look? That's just what you want, the browning on the edges. They're gonna be so crispy on the outside, but soft on the inside. My roommates in college loved to cook. Senior year, that's when I really started getting into it. Before that, it was Easy Mac and Ramen Noodles. And then I moved from the sorority house to an apartment with some friends, and they actually taught me a lot. And now I like to cook. Oh, that looks so good. I love the color on these. And last but not least, as I promised, my balsamic glaze on every dish. And we're just gonna drizzle these over. Now the best part, to taste it. So delicious. I love the flavor on the outer leaves of the Brussels sprouts. Crispy, and the balsamic glaze is delicious. So you have your Brussels sprouts, caprese chicken, and your blue cheese chips. Thank you for joining me today, and you can catch more of my episodes on www.amandarogerstv.com, and I'll see you next time.
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling 22.